Good morning, Thailand. Welcome to another program, last day of the week, and we hope to lighten up your day a little bit wherever you are. Somebody sent in a message yesterday and said it's not Good Morning Thailand where they are, it's beer o'clock Thailand. So good afternoon or good evening to you. Now, in the studio today, we have, as usual, Bill Barnett from C9 Hotel Works.
Hi, Tim, and 20 days for the Sandbox and counting.
We'll get to the Sandbox in just a moment. And we've also got the managing director, we've just promoted him, of the Pavilions Group. This is Scott Toon. Thanks for coming in, Scott.
Thanks for inviting me in.
The Pavilions Group is sort of a boutique range of hotels, but they're not just in Thailand, it's sort of right around the whole region.
It's across Europe and Asia, so we have Spain, Rome and Amsterdam, as well as Asia with Bali and Phuket and Nepal.
All right, and a very fine group of hotels indeed, and you're probably showing some pictures while we're talking about it right now. But Scott has been in the hospitality industry for about 70 or 80 years, has worked right around the world and knows the industry backwards and sideways, and of course is heavily impacted by the current situation, which we'll get to in just a moment. But first, Bill, we're sort of famous. We've made it to Instagram.
Oh, we have? How did that happen?
Well, an Instagram site called Truth Be Told 2 has repackaged some of the Good Morning Thailand content when we were talking about the mark of the beast. Anyway, have a quick look.
Vaccines for COVID-19
Into
and a story out of the Book of Revelation.
the end of days. Lucifer's injection.
The vaccine is the mark of the beast.
And Lucifer. Lucifer.
But this is just complete storytelling going crazy.
Absolutely. It's nonsense, but as we know.
So there you go. They've put some dramatic music in and repackaged it and made it say that we're basically saying that the vaccine's the mark of the beast.
Well, if the mark of the beast isn't going to get you, the nanobots will, so something's always out there.
So famous on Instagram for all the wrong reasons. Now let's get into the latest on the Sandbox. And for those people that say they're sick of hearing about the Sandbox, we're sorry to say that about 90% of the messages coming into the Thaiger at the moment are about the Sandbox. So we do need to address the very latest situation because it's our job to keep you informed. So here's the latest, and I'm not sure how you want to react to this, gentlemen, but from the Thaiger yesterday, bars, pubs and other entertainment venues throughout Phuket will remain closed when the province opens on July the 1st. That came from the Patong Mayor Chalermlak after a meeting with the provincial authorities yesterday afternoon. If people are coming to Phuket, the bars aren't open, the entertainment venues, is that a game changer for a lot of potential bookings, Scott?
For sure. I think it is going to have to be honest, a negative impact on many people choosing the destination as a holiday destination. However, we still need to move forward. We still need to take those steps forward to open the island and to get business going again. And there will be some tourists that will still come, but it probably will have some impact if it's going to go ahead.
Well, you've got bookings already for July, and you're saying you're getting quite a few bookings. But would some of those people now go, whoa, hang on, I think we'll cancel?
It may well have an impact, for sure, yes. And we have had great pickup in the last 2 weeks, and we continue to see great pickup for July, and we hope this continues and those people eventually get out here.
Around those hotels for the Pavilion Group around the world, you've got ones obviously that are doing better than others. Spain, for example, that's sort of reopened and you're probably having a good time there.
Yeah, Madrid is doing fantastic since it reopened, and Amsterdam and Rome are coming back slower, but Madrid is doing very well at the moment.
Yeah. I think one thing, Tim and Scott, also, going back to the liquor ban, there's a delineation also, will hotels be allowed to serve alcohol as well, in terms of that. Restaurants also, certainly, can restaurants serve alcohol? I could understand with entertainment venues because of the past problems we had during the outbreaks. So I think that's an issue. And again, guidelines have not been issued. I think we are premature in saying alcohol won't necessarily be served after July 1st, because that's under the provincial governor. The central government has allowed the provinces to give those guidelines, and we don't have those guidelines yet. So I think we do have to wait and see. It's very close to happening now. We're 20 days away, and we need those guidelines, hopefully next week, but it is premature to say there will not be alcohol in July.
Correct.
In just 1 week, we've had so many changes, from going from 7 days on the island to 14 days. We've had now this potential closure of all entertainment venues, remaining closed. And then yesterday, the Phuket governor put his hand up and said, I need some money for a tracking app. Given that there are already Thailand Plus, More Chana, and the Go Phuket website, which also basically track where you are, there seems to be a whole variety of changes happening every single day. And we're 20 days away. So the governor hasn't got enough money for a tracking app. If we're going to keep the entertainment areas closed, what chance is there for this really to be successful? I know we've got to open up. We need to start somewhere. But this is barely a start. This is really no better than the ASQ situation we had 9 months
It's
ago.
certainly better than ASQ, arguably, and we're not locking people in hotel rooms. That's nonsense, Tim. That just doesn't make any sense to me. At the end of the day, you're going to have people who are coming to the Phuket. They're allowed to go to restaurants. You say street food's not available. I walk down the street every single day and see street food available. I see restaurants open. I see places to go. You go to massage. You can go to lots of places. You go to the beach every day. Beach clubs are still open in certain areas of Phuket. So,
hang on, you're going to like Bang Tao or Chum Talay. Go to Patong and try and find some restaurants.
I go to Rawai.
Oh, Rawai. Now, Rawai is doing very well. That's right down the very south of Phuket, but it's very patchy. So the idea of coming to Phuket during July is really about an expedition to try and find things that
Not
are
really,
open.
because you don't know that. That's speculation. At the end of the day, supply and demand. As soon as tourists come, places will open. Businesses are still here. They haven't. Not every business in Phuket has closed. Not everything is completely gone as well as that. It's easy to re-trigger that, but you have to have demand. So as soon as there is demand, we will have commerce again.
Correct. And the demand, when it does come back, people will open. People are waiting to see that demand happen. And as soon as that does happen, you will see things switch up a gear. There is obviously some properties and some restaurants that are open now that have continued through, so they're ready for those first wave of tourists to come through, like ourselves, like restaurants around here, Bang Tao and on the beach. But more will open, and there is plenty for people to do when they come here.
Isn't it part of the government's responsibility to get Phuket ready? Isn't it really up to the government, who are cashed up, let's agree, that they should be throwing some money at some of the Phuket businesses and say, please open, encourage them to open, because they're going to be waiting for the people. It's going to be what comes first, the chicken or the egg.
Is it the government's responsibility? I mean, taxes are down. You're trying to fund vaccination programs. At the end, we're all going to see the private sector will lead most recoveries. It's not government incentives which happen. In reality, this is the way things work in the real world. And business will lead the government as well. So I think the government is struggling with vaccinating people right now. Let them get that done, and let's get open.
I think too much money would be needed or wanted for businesses for anything to happen. Sure. It is better for it to be focused on getting the country ready by getting people vaccinated and getting those systems and those apps in place to make that happen. That is a far better place to put the money than handouts right now, if it's not for obviously basic survival.
I think one question for Scott would be, today, for the month of June, you're operating a hotel business here in Phuket, and I think viewers would like to know, what are you guys doing? You have very low occupancy, everything else. How are you keeping your staff busy? How are you keeping your business afloat?
Correct. Well, it was through Thai business, and the Thai domestic demand was there prior to obviously this situation. We've still got long stay people. We've got a lot of people getting out of Bangkok and staying long term with us, months, 2 weeks, that sort of thing. And that's where it is. And our staff are coming in, and we're doing cleaning and maintenance and painting and all the things, rather than unfortunately serving as many guests as we should.
I should say, by the way, if you want to see one of the best views in Phuket, there are plenty of great views. If you go up to the 360 bar?
Correct? 360 bar.
360 bar. It is really one of the great views. So assuming that you'll be able to have a
sunset
drink there,
cocktail.
that's a great place to have a drink. Guys, we're going to come back and have a bit of a talk about other things happening around the region in a moment. But for now, we're going to check Thailand's main headlines. Checking headlines, and the Thai government signs a contract for 20 million Pfizer doses of vaccine. The CCSA announces schools can reopen on June the 14th in most of Thailand. A new UN report that says that Myanmar could face mass starvation and death. A Bangkok man has been arrested for allegedly selling sex toys. Sorry, we don't have his Facebook page. And today there are 27 COVID-related deaths and 2,290 new cases, 294 of those from Thai prisons.
The Thaiger is getting behind businesses for the restart of tourism next month. With 60,000 daily YouTube viewers and around 8 million clicks on our website each month, half of them from overseas, let us help you get in contact with the next wave of inbound travelers. Thaiger is offering 50% discounts on packages right through this month. Details in the description under this video.
You're on Good Morning Thailand as we check all the main news, and of course we are talking a lot about the Sandbox, but let's move beyond that, talk about the region. Right next door we've got Myanmar, and it's been a bit, I suppose we could say, after February the 1st, the UN has just released a report saying that there's a lot of poverty in Myanmar, and there's going to be death and destruction and the end of the world. How does what's happening in Myanmar, which really is an ongoing situation, affect a place like Thailand, which is just next door? Will this have any effect on people coming back to the region, people coming back to Thailand?
I don't feel it'll have an impact on tourism as such. Obviously, there is some regional impact and financial impact. We have obviously a number of the workforce over here who are from Myanmar, so we can see some impact there. We see some workers heading back to Myanmar to support what's going on there, and we also see some coming here and needing work to actually help families back in Myanmar who are losing jobs because of the situation over there. So
I think from an economic standpoint, Thailand is a large trading partner with Myanmar as well, so there is that consideration taking place, but more of a humanitarian issue as well in terms of immigration coming across, certainly in terms of controlling the borders with COVID and the spread of COVID, but also poverty. There's always a question about ethical tourism in these kind of situations. When you have a country saying, we're going to shut down the governments, we're not going to fund them, and everything else, but what about the people who work in tourism? What about the people who operate shops and operate small businesses? How are they going to educate their kids? And these concerns are very broad, so I think there's no easy answers for this, but it's a humanitarian issue as well, and I think that's a bigger consideration. And sadly, in the world we live right now, Myanmar is not on the map of governments trying to solve that problem. You know, we see other critical issues around the world, but Myanmar is not ranking right now.
yeah,
And
economically, the UN just announced yesterday that child labour has increased for the first time in many years, since about 2016. They're seeing child labour in the last 12 months has increased globally, which is obviously due to some of these factors and people needing work and jobs and
economic
money.
issues. Economic and kids aren't getting educated.
We certainly recognise that the problems caused by COVID-19 and the reactions from governments are causing a lot of distress and a lot of change right around the world. It's not just here in Thailand. Well, as if the current Prime Minister didn't have enough on his plate at the moment, he now has a situation where he's having to deflect some commentary about a possible early election. Yesterday, the Deputy Prime Minister, Prawit Wongsuwon, was addressing reporters saying, no, there's no possible early election. They'll be running until next year. The last election was back in 2019. So where's this conversation coming from? It seems that there was some answers from the Prime Minister talking about getting his ministers to get things sorted out quickly, implement the plans that they currently have to get ready. So is this another deflection of the Prime Minister? This is like a tactic used by prime ministers around the world.
Or KPIs. Anybody who's coming up to an election has a KPI. They want to have performance. Say we did this, we did that, we did these things. So it's important there is an agenda and there's accomplishments, because that's how you gauge effectiveness of government. So this is just political maneuvering.
Is Thailand considered stable by tourists? Do they think this is a stable country to come and visit?
From the feedback we get, yes. You know, the government political situation at the moment is deemed stable and not of a major concern to the travellers. I think it is a domestic issue at the moment, and like you said, it's purely KPIs. Why would he take an election now when he's in the middle of a crisis and wants to prove himself and prove some results?
I think more important for political stability is for investors. Investors consider Thailand, we deal with many investors in the hospitality trade, they consider Thailand to be highly stabilized and there's strong sentiment. In terms of a safety issue as well, I'm more at risk in Chicago right now. You know, how many people were gunned down last night in Chicago compared to how many people are dying of activities here? So,
yeah, I think as far as the government in Thailand is concerned, it has been stable for the last 7 years. You could argue about the way that they were elected or the way they got to power, but we haven't had a coup in Thailand for the last 7 years. So if that's stability, then Thailand has had plenty of that. We're going to come back and get to your comments in just a moment, but for now we're going to have a quick break on Good Morning Thailand. Back on Good Morning Thailand, time to get to your comments. Shall I start with one of our members?
kick it off.
William Kittredge said, with reference to the historical pandemic experience, isn't it likely that all the return to normal talk is just magical thinking, hoping to wish away the major issues? He was harking back to his days in 1970 when he said he had more hair and it was all one colour, and they were the golden days of Thai tourism. 1970. There wouldn't have been much tourism in Thailand in those days. It would have been a magical place. When did you come to Thailand first?
In the mid-80s, 85 to Pattaya. I didn't make it down here, but I believe it was 20,000 people on the island and a lot of buffaloes.
You would come across most of it. There's a critical book called Southeast Asia on a Shoestring, which was done by Lonely Planet. That really opened up many places in Asia. You'd walk into a cafe, be in Bali, be in Malaysia, be in Thailand, and you'd see the same 5 people with that guidebook. But that really was where things started for travel through Southeast Asia and people discovering those elements as well. Thai Airways at that time bringing in airlift during the 1980s as well. And you forget Thai Airways was also instrumental in pioneering travel to Bali as well, through Thailand. They were a critical carrier in Bali's success, oddly enough.
And a Lonely Planet, in those days, it used to open with the sentence, "Welcome to the land of 1,000 temples." They were the ones that coined that phrase. Now I think the first line says, "Welcome to the land of 1,000 7-Elevens." In fact, it's 12,800 now, in case you didn't know. You got one there, Bill?
Sure, we've got the, odd name, Gregorian Tube. Please stop flogging your app. Tim?
Okay, the app. If you don't have the
What
app...
app?
Do you have the app, Scott?
What app?
Where's your phone? Okay, go to the App Store. You're on an iPhone.
Tiger with a tie.
You go the Thaiger, Aiger.
Oh, look at that.
There it is. So press download. This is live app downloading. So what's the person's name, Bill?
Gregorian Tube.
The best way you can stop us talking about it, Gregorian Tube, is to download it.
Done.
Done.
That's downloaded.
Okay, we got Grindr on there and
A few things.
Tinder and... Okay, good.
Covering all bases there,
All
Scott.
bases, yeah.
Shane says, missing Thailand and simply waiting for Australia to open up for travel. This is interesting. Australians are not permitted to travel at the moment. That situation hopefully will change. What countries can come to Thailand at the moment?
That is a good question.
It's a bit of a movie.
And I think, many countries allow you to come, but also
It's going back.
Going back is this situation of quarantine when you go home. If you come here and you don't have to quarantine, fantastic, that's great, you enjoy your Phuket holiday, but are you willing to go back and quarantine when you get home?
The bookings that you're getting at the moment, Scott, are they from, where are they from?
They're from a mixture, from Middle East, from Europe, from France, from the UK. I think there is also Some people who are booking hoping that everything is going to align for the 1st of July and that closer to the time the governments will change. We know the UK updates theirs every month, so we have to wait till the end of the month for the UK to hopefully update their warning or their traffic light on Thailand. So I think a number of people are still pushing for that 1st of July and want to come. They need the other countries to.
As you dig through the tea leaves, Bill, where are the people coming from?
Again, it goes down to airlift. You can't stay there if you can't get there. We have airlift coming in from the Middle East, so you'll have people coming in from Northern Europe, from these communities where they're highly vaccinated. North America, certainly, we're going to see traffic. And from the Middle East as well, the alcohol ban there is not going to be a big issue if, in fact, you cannot drink during the months of July and August. You're going from one sandbox to another sandbox. So there is good potential for these types of groups to come in.
Because that alcohol thing is also a little key note is until it's in writing with that stamp and that signature.
Okay.
Yeah.
We can't.
Let's wait.
We can only say it as it's on the news.
Yeah. Okay. And from Eternal Sunshine, love that tagline. Great idea to expand your show to other provinces. We've got Monday coming up with Pattaya.
Yes, next Monday we're speaking to Trevor from Buzzin Pattaya, and we'll find out what is the situation in Pattaya at the moment. And then on Tuesday, Bill's going to be giving us a call from Samui.
Koh Samui. I will be traveling to Koh Samui on Sunday and checking out the hotel situation and hospitality there. Samui also wants to see what's happening in Phuket and how can they get their tourism business back as well. So,
yeah, I think if you think it's rough here in Phuket at the moment and it's very difficult for a lot of people, it's even worse in the island of Samui, Thailand's second largest island. All right, what else you got there, Bill?
Regarding the decor as well, CA 1954, the picture falling down yesterday was a hint about that everything will be normal after Christmas. Tim.
Oh, well, because of the Christmas photo
Exactly.
that fell down. Yeah, okay, we can't really speculate much on that. We do hope the pictures are going to stay up there for the rest of today. We are trying to sort out our sound issues. It's been a bit of an ongoing feast, but we're slowly getting there. Hopefully the sound is a little bit better today. I've got from Stefan H, one of our members. He says, when will Thaiger start selling merchandise? What sort of merchandise do you think we should have?
I wouldn't mind a Thaiger cup, actually.
Yeah, for sure. They've got to have the Thaiger cup.
Available on the Thaiger app.
Correct.
Just in case.
Well, for a good price for you. I think we should have T-shirts, maybe caps, pens. What other useless bits of merchandise are people?
Maybe a small sandbox.
Sandbox.
With the little rake, the
Miniature
little
sandbox,
Japanese
exactly.
rake.
Miniature sandbox. For those doubters out there.
The sand not included. You have to buy that extra. All right, with that, thank you for joining us this week. And we've covered an awful lot of topics. We've had a lot of guests. And it's great to have Scott Toon from the Pavilions Resorts, Pavilion Group, in the studio. And there'll be a link under this video so that you can check out more about those destinations. And maybe you'd like to even catch up with Scott and check into their hotel after the Sandbox opens, with or without alcohol. Scott, thank you.
No, thanks for having me.
And Bill Barnett from C9 Hotel Works, thanks for coming in this week.
I'll see you from Samui.
And we'll see Bill on Tuesday from Samui. But thank you for joining us, and thank you to Jay and Jason for pressing the buttons, and we'll wish you a happy weekend. See you next week on the Thaiger.